Thanks for visiting my YouTube channel. In this demo, we're going to see how to integrate Azure DevOps with Bitbucket. And we're going to see how we're going to push your code all the way from your local to Bitbucket and to Azure DevOps using CI/CD pipeline, and pushing the artifact from CI/CD pipeline into an environment. In our instance, it's going to be Azure. So we're going to just push it into your app service. Agenda. So let's see what we can look on today's agenda. So right, we're going to talk about why we are going to use Azure DevOps as a tool for setting up CI/CD pipeline, and we're going to do a quick demo and showing how to integrate Bitbucket with Azure DevOps. And we're also going to see how to set up CI pipeline using YAML definition on Azure DevOps pipeline. And we're going to see how CD works on Azure DevOps. Just for demo purpose, I'm just going to create app services in Azure, and I'm just going to push the Web API to Azure. Why Azure DevOps? It's a very good question. Why not other tools in the market? Let's have a quick look. This is Azure DevOps diagram. So if you look at this diagram, on the left hand side you can see how Dev works, on the right hand side you can see how Ops works. Starting from planning to all the way down to monitoring and going back to planning. But if you look at this diagram, and if you think about tools you can use in diagrams, and this is what you would find. So these are the tools available for you in the market. So just imagine someone going through all these tools and trying to find pros and cons of individual tools, and trying to make a decision, and also trying to make a decision based on what's needed by the business, and also make sure that this also compiles with technical requirement as well. It's quite challenging. So just make it very simple. If you just think about Azure DevOps, this is how we see it. So it's very simple. So let's go a little bit deeper into this diagram. So just introduction to Azure DevOps. So if you see, the first one is Azure DevOps has got an Azure board where you can use a Scrum board, you can use a Kanban board, but in our case we can use Jira. It's also called Azure repos, where you can push your source code into it. In our case it's going to be Bitbucket, so the first three could be avoided. The next one is basically pipelines. This is what we're going to do a quick demo, where you can integrate your repos into the pipeline from not only from Azure DevOps. It could be from Bitbucket, it could be GitHub. They've got a handful of other third-party repos which you can integrate with. The next one you have here is Azure test plans. This is an excellent place where you can write your test plans. You can write manual testing, and you can go with automation testing as well. You can do load testing. It's a really good place to explore. Finally, what you can do is you can package all your artifacts, and you can push it to wherever you want to. Not just that, but if you look at other advantages, apart from just making things very simple, Azure DevOps has got more advantage than other tools, especially when it comes to language support. It doesn't only support .NET framework supported languages like VB.NET or from C#, or it also supports Node.js, Python, Java, PHP, Ruby, C++, Android, iOS. There's lots you can do with Azure DevOps. They are moving towards an open source platform these days, and it supports the next one, because you can support containers and Kubernetes in the pipeline. And you have extensibility, which is great. So you can, it's not just use what's embedded in Azure DevOps. You can actually download plugins from Azure DevOps. In our case, Bitbucket is one of the plugins, and you can also integrate SonarQube, and you can integrate Slack as well. So there's a lot of extensibility. There's hundreds of plugins where you can actually get from Azure DevOps. You can deploy to not only to Azure. You can deploy to any cloud. It can be deployed to AWS, Google Cloud providers. So there are loads of. There's a huge list on the website. If you could go and could go through those lists. The next one is free for open source. This is a really good thing I like, because if your project is an open source project, What you can do is in Azure DevOps, you get 10 free parallel jobs with unlimited build minutes for all open source projects. That's fantastic. So you don't need to go and buy a build agent to run your builds. You just get like free parallel jobs with unlimited build limits. That's a really good feature. So there's one thing I really love about this is it's free for open source. And then finally, you have advanced workflow and features. So you, initially, when DevOps came out historically, they had a few issues, and they moved to build definition, build steps. So build definition is based on build steps. The build steps were very rigid, so you can only use what Azure DevOps, or at the time it's called a GFS version control. You can only use what they provide. But now that's kind of like minimized, and now they have moved away from those kind of rigid way of doing build steps. They have moved into more like a more free way, I would say. You can use YAML these days to write your build definitions. So each steps in your build will be written in YAML, which I'll be showing in my demo. Right, that's why we use Azure DevOps. The next one would be, let's dive into demo now. There are actually 4 steps in the demo. Now let me take you through one by one. So step 1, we can install .NET API, Core API on locally. So basically we're going to have a template on local machine, and we're going to install the project from the template. So let's see this in action. Right, let's create API project now. So it's .NET new to bring the template available on this machine. So I've got AJG REST API. So let me create API from this template, which is .NET new AJG.REST API, which is the name of the template. And then it should actually create API project for us, and that's created now. Great. Let's open VS Code now. Great. So we've got 2 instances. Let me close one. So I've already got one open. So let me close this. I don't want to save this. Right. Okay. Let's look into the folder structure. So you've got the source code, and you've got the required API, and we've got CS project file. Let me remove this template.config.json, so template.config.json file. We don't need that one right now here. So it's an actual project. So let me actually run. First I have to do CD into the right folder structure to run this project. So it's believe it's source we're looking for. Yes, it's the source we're looking for. And the next one would be the web project we're looking for, which is demo.api. That's great. So now let's run this project. So that's running now. It's compiling and executing. Take too long. Great. Yeah, fantastic. That's compiled and executed. Now let's see where it's hosted. So let's scroll up a bit, and it should be hosted to localhost 4446. That's great. Okay, let me open this in browser. Okay, that's open the browser. So we've got open API. So that should be Swagger. So it should be /Swagger, and that's API running up and running. So now let's push this API into Bitbucket. Step 2, we're going to push the code from local to Bitbucket. So we just saw how to create a project using a template. Now we're going to use this source code, and we're going to push it to Bitbucket using Git. And let's see this in action. Great. Let's do a Git init to initialize Git on local. That should be done now. So let's quickly go and have a look in the Bitbucket. So this is where I created a repo, and that's an empty repo. And this is the URL which we're going to push our repo into. It's a very important note between SSH and HTTPS. I'm going to choose HTTPS as a method of communication now. Okay, let me copy this and go back to VS Code, and let me push my code in.
So the command I need to push my code in is going to be git remote. I'm just going to paste it. I've pasted everything now, so just need to remove a few stuff here. Oops, so something's gone wrong here, so I'm missing something here. So it's git remote add. It's origin I'm missing here. Let me add origin. Great, and that should have pushed. And now git add all and git commit with a message, and the message is going to be an initial commit. Oops, I'm just yep, initial commit. So enter. So that's committed everything now. Now let's push the repo to the origin. So I haven't got an upstream branch. I need to set the upstream before I push it. So let's do all in one go. So git push set upstream. And set origin. And it's going to be master, which you need to upstream now. So if you enter, and that should push the repos into origin now. So if you see the source code in origin, let's go quickly refresh it. You should see the repo. There you go. You can see the repo now. Fantastic. Now, if you've actually integrated this, so we've pushed the code in. Now we need to integrate with Azure DevOps, which is what we're going to do next.
Step 3. So we've already pushed a code into a repo, which is Bitbucket, and now we've got something in the repo. So we have to integrate the Bitbucket into Azure DevOps in order to set up a build pipeline and to trigger continuous integration. So that's what we're going to have a look. So let's see this in action.
Great. So that's the portal we have here. So there's a create new project. So you can find this portal at the top, dev.azure.com. So if you create a new project there, and name a project as demo and make it private. Great. So create the project. So just creating a project now. Should take too long. That's the project. So that's the portal for the demo project. So on the left hand side you would see the various options, but in our case we're going to look at the pipeline. So let's expand the pipeline and let's create a new pipeline here. And I'm going to choose Bitbucket and start connect to the Bitbucket repo. Automatically I'm going to choose the repo, and that's repo. And by default, based on the project type, it will actually give you some build steps, but we're going to redo the build steps. Let me first save this, and I'm going to go back and delete those steps, and we're going to do step-by-step steps actually, so you can have some clear view on what we're doing. Okay, right, so we've got the pipeline. So that is the pipeline we just created. So let's go back and edit the pipeline. Right, so that is build steps we've got. Let me quickly just go and delete all the steps. That's deleted now. Right, and let's go and add the steps. So on the right hand side, you see. Okay, let me show you. These are the YAML templates given to you by Azure DevOps. So the first thing we do is we're going to actually do a restore. So the restore takes a few things. It takes arguments, it takes parts of project and things like that. We're not going to do anything here. We're just going to go add a restore. So that's going to restore all the NuGet packages for you. So and if you're going to type in the display name, I'm just going to name this as restore. Great. It's done. So the next step is going to be we're just going to go and do a build. So I'm just going to add build. Now you've noticed that it's not happy about something. So this is the joy of working with YAML. So you need to be very careful with spacing and tabs. So if you just delete all spaces in front of that, so that should be happy. So just going to delete everything now. So that's it. So that's done. So let me just do a bit of tidy up there. Okay, fantastic. Okay, so that's all done now. Go to type in a display name. Just gonna name it as this build. Sorry, Okay, the next one so that's build. Okay, next one I'm going to do is we are going to actually so with build, we're going to actually do packaging. So you can see there's various options here. So one people normally tend to do is testing, where you can run unit test, you can run automation test, or whatever it is. But in our instance, I haven't got testing, so we're going to do the packaging. We'll choose publish instead of pack. So publish got more options here. So I need to pass in few arguments. The arguments are going to be the output and default build configuration. Is what we can pass. We can pass in various arguments you see there. So in this instance, it's going to be just output a directory where it's going to output and the default configuration. Let me add this. Right. Okay. So again, just tidy up there. I could actually put my cursor right at the beginning and do the paste, but just to for demo purpose, just to show the issues we may have at YAML going forward. So yeah, so that is let me put a display name as package. Display names. So the good thing is you have IntelliSense as well, so that's great with Azure DevOps. There's no need for you to look for external tools to do that. So that's package. So that's done. So and next final step we be aiming here is to if packages now we have to push this artifact somewhere. So I'm planning to push it to drop. So that's where you would actually get it from. So so you can just push it to drop there. So as you know, you can pick it from the output directory, and you're going to push it to drop. And you can actually either push it to Azure Pipeline or you can do a file share. So this is the artifact you're trying to push, which has been already packaged. Sorry, I've pasted in the wrong place. Let me quickly redo this. Okay, undo it and go back once again. So you can type in publish. You can publish build artifact and add this. Great. Let me quickly do a quick tidy up. Shouldn't take too long. Starting up. Okay, that is pretty much all we need to do here. Okay, great. Let's quickly go back and see what we did here. We've got a project name trigger, a triggering master here, and we've got images, windows. We've got variables here. We can have different variables. We've got solution level. We're building it. So then you've got a few steps. You've got restore. You're going to build. Then you do package, and finally we're going to publish this. So I just missed to a display name. Okay, publish. Cool. Let's save this. Right, saved, and let's quickly run this. So going to trigger master branch level. So that's what we're going to trigger. So let's run this. Okay, so that's the job created. So let's click on this job, and you can see a live view of what's happening here. So this we are using a free build host, so build agent here, which is being hosted by Azure. And it may take a bit of time. So now it's already kicked off. So it's initializing the job now. It's going to go through the various steps we created. Now it's doing some checkouts here. So and then the next one, it should start doing the restore. The restore may take a bit long because it has to go through various dependencies in the project, and it has to make sure that all the dependencies are available and they're compatible as well. So that may take a bit of long to do the full restoration. The good thing is we see on the left hand side, you can see all the different steps, that's what we added as a display name. And then you can see what are different steps available while it builds as well. And if it breaks straight where it's supposed to break, and you can actually see exactly on which step it broke in, and then you can actually start investigating from that point onwards. I really love this UX design with Azure DevOps. It's used a few other tools, but this has got a fantastic user experience design, more than a UI. So yeah, so it is still restoring. It shouldn't take too long. We're pretty much there. believe it's taken about more than a minute. Great, that's restoration finished. Good news, it's passed. And that's building now. It shouldn't take too long. Build should be pretty quick because you're not building too much of project there. It's just an API project building. Okay, that's build pass, fantastic. We have a package. Now we've built a good package. There's an artifact. So this is where the package happens. It's going to put in the zip folder. And then finally, it's going to publish it to a drop where we mentioned it, and then should be able to tidy up there. And if you actually go and, so that's finished now, fantastic. Okay, if you go and click on the link here, and that should tell you where the zip file is. That's great. Okay, so we have come to the end of the builds, and next we could use the zip to publish it.
Finally, we've come to the last step, step 4. So we've got build definition, and we've got an artifact being published to drop. The next step would be actually to grab this artifact, and we're going to set up a release pipeline, and we're going to publish this artifact via release pipeline to Azure App Service. The reason using Azure App Service here is it's quite simple to use for demo purposes. You can also push them to your on-prem environment as well. You can download agents onto your on-prem machines, and you can actually integrate your on-prem environment into your release pipeline. So we're going to actually see two things here. The one is how to grab the artifact from the drop folder and how to set up the pipeline using the artifact. And the next thing we're going to see is we're going to briefly go through setting up Azure App Services in Azure Portal, and then we're going to finally push the artifact into Azure Portal. Yes, this is what we're going to see in step 4. Let's see this in action.
Well, let's do the release now. So that's the release portal. So if you just create a new release, and it'll take you to a few options here. So let's go and do App Service first in Azure. So let me log into portal.azure.com. So if I click on App Service, and if I just go and add a new app service, so I've got an option here. So I'm going to use enterprise subscription. So I'm going to use the demo resource group, and I'm just going to name my app as dev-demo app. It's still not available. Okay, let me put AJG in front and see if that's great. That is available. And then we choose the framework, which is 3.1 core. I'm just going to choose the region. So in my case, it's going to be UK South you're looking for. That's great. So I'm going to take the basic B1 there. So let me go and create one. So just click create. Okay, let's see if it's still running. Yeah, it's still process of deploying. You can see yeah, it's still in process of deploying now. So let's go back to release pipeline. So let's click let's go and add an artifact first. That's the easy one. So let's go and choose the project. It's a demo project, and we're going to choose the one we're working on. We're going to add the project now. So then you can see there is a small button there. That's where you click to turn on your CD. So enable CD, and you can also see the few filters you have here. So you can just add more filters. You can include, exclude branches and tags and things like that. In our case, we're not going to have any filters, so let's basically not do anything. Just delete it. Okay, so now so you can actually define a pre-post condition, so pre-deployment condition, and there are various conditions. You can do schedule, you can do pull requests and things like that. So it's quite good. And you can also do post-deployment condition as well. In our instance, we're not doing anything here. Just keep it simple. So let's go back to Azure and see if it's deployed. That's great, it's deployed. So let's go and click on the link. So let's go and see where the Pro app is. There you go, that's the app. Let's go and see if it's up and running now. Just click on the link. Won't take too long. So that's great, this app is running now. Fantastic. Let's go back and finish the release. Let's click on the tasks. Okay, that's a subscription, and you have your app name, a few options are there. So that's the one you want to deploy to, demo app. Okay, let's save it. Just going to save it now. Okay, so that's pretty much you've done. So let's probably change the name as well. Let's change the name to demo CD. Let's save it. Great. Let's create a release now, and that's release creator. Let's click on the release one link. Okay, so that's cute. Let's click onto it. So yeah, that's the live view of what's happening now. So that's basically it's trying to connect an agent. So this is where it looks for available agent in the cloud, and basically it starts connecting it. It won't take too long. So that's connected now. So now its job has been initialized. Next thing it should do is it should actually pick up the package from the drop, and that's picking up the package from the drop. And that's picked up, and now it's deploying it to Azure now. So so basically where we dropped last time in the drop folder, it picks it up now and it's pushing it to Azure. It shouldn't take too long. It's almost finished deployment, so package deployment done. So yeah, so and that's pretty much that. It's finished, done. Fantastic. Okay, now let's go and have a look and see what's happening in the portal. So we're using OpenAPI, so we have to type in Swagger to go to the actual UI. So then we hit enter, and let's go to fantastic. There you go. So you've got the API running in Azure. So that is the so this is basically you see like how we're able to push the code from a local all the way to Azure using a CI pipeline in DevOps and CD in the release management option in Azure DevOps, and that's got pushed into Azure. So this is quite simple. Let's go back and see what other options we've got. What you can push an artifact here, so we can use, we have a NuGet package centralized repository. We can connect artifact using HTTP protocol, and you can also do a test plan as well. So that's a test you can do. You can write unit test, you can write exploiter test, and you can also have your Scrum board embedded. But in our instance, we're not doing all the things. We're actually just keeping it quite simple, just using for CI and CD pipeline. That's the end of the demo.
Great, finally come to end of the demo. So let's summarize what we've seen so far. First thing we saw was why Azure DevOps. So we did see purpose of using Azure DevOps, how integrated tool it is, starting from your Scrum board all the way to your release pipeline. So now you can also integrate with different cloud providers. So it's something, it's very easy to set up, and it's very easy and convenient to use. And the user experience, Microsoft's constantly improving on the user experience with Azure DevOps. The next one is the product and features of Azure DevOps. We did briefly go through different products available in Azure DevOps. So we did briefly go through tests on Azure, where you could actually write your test plans, and you went through the CI pipeline, CD pipeline. Very briefly, just I had a screenshot on Scrum board. So yeah, so these are the various products available. And also, there's something we haven't covered in this demo. You can download loads of plugins, and you can integrate your pipeline through different plugins. For a good example would be if people want to use Terraform as an infrastructure for code, or Pulumi as infrastructure for code, and they can actually download them as a plugin as part of the CD pipeline, and they can integrate. And there are a lot of support in open sources like Python and Java world with the tools which they can integrate as well, which we haven't touched this, but this is something which we can do with Azure DevOps. We saw how to push the code from local to a repo using Git. In our instance, we pushed to Bitbucket. And then using the Git, we just briefly went through the Git commands. Bitbucket and Azure DevOps integration. So it was very simple because Bitbucket integrations you just need to add them as part of your pipeline, which we also have to do. We saw continuous integration. We just saw how to set up a build definition and to trigger continuous integration via build definition. Azure App Service. Azure App Service. So we briefly went through App Service. So the scope of this demo is not to cover anything with Azure itself, which may fall in future demos. How to set up various services in Azure. We may discuss about IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS in Azure in future demos. But for this demo, we just keep it very simple. We just briefly saw how to set up app service in Azure. And continuous deployments. We saw how to set up a release pipeline and how to get artifact from the drop, how to consume the artifact using the release pipeline, and how to trigger a CD and how to deploy them to an environment. So as I mentioned before, it's Azure.
Finally, let's have a look at resources where to find useful information. Git, this is official Git website where you can find information on how to install Git and how to use command lines and like more of other information can be found. Azure DevOps, this is official website from Microsoft where you can find a handful of information starting from what is DevOps and all the way to different components of CI/CD pipeline and using different sections like Scrum Board and testing and other different tools in Azure DevOps. It's an excellent place to get more information on Azure. The last one is the demo. This is my Git repo where you can find the slide, and also I'm going to upload this presentation into my YouTube channel, and you'll find the link to the YouTube channel in this GitHub repo. And that's the end of the demo, and thank you.
Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe to it. Please also do leave your comments, and your comments are really appreciated, which will actually give me room to improve my future videos. Once again, thanks for watching.